I still remember the exact moment my phone started vibrating like it was possessed. Friday night, quiet apartment. Just me, a half-cold cup of coffee, and the Ring website still open on my laptop. Hannah was supposed to be in LA, laughing with her girlfriends, sending me selfies from hotel mirrors. Not this. The first notification came from Jake. No text, just a screenshot. Her Instagram story, rooftop bar, neon lights, drinks raised high, single for the weekend. My chest tightened, but I told myself I was overthinking it. Hannah always loved attention, jokes, captions meant to stir reactions. I tried to breathe, until the next story loaded. A crowded dance floor, music thumping so loud I could almost hear it through the screen. A guy behind her, his hands wrapped around her waist like they belonged there. Her head leaned back into his shoulder, eyes closed, comfortable, familiar. Then the selfie, their faces pressed together. Her smile wasn't drunk, it was proud. And then the video, her lips on his. No hesitation, no blur of confusion, just her making out with a stranger while her friends screamed and laughed like it was a game show prize. I couldn't breathe. Jake called me, but I didn't answer. He showed up anyway and physically took my phone out of my hand because my fingers had locked around it. I think I was shaking, or maybe the room was 3.5 years, living together, splitting bills, talking about kids, about names, about where we'd settle down. I had driven her to the airport myself, used my credit card points to book her flight because she was tight on money, kissed her goodbye, told her to have fun, and now she was single for the weekend. I wanted to scream. I wanted to call her and burn everything down with words, demand explanations, hear her panic, but instead, something cold slid into place inside me, calm, focused, almost surgical. I went home alone, sat on the edge of the bed we shared, opened my banking app, found the flight, and cancelled her return ticket. No dramatic message, no announcement, just a quiet click and a confirmation email. That night, while LA kept partying, I bought new locks for my office space and a security camera I didn't even know how to install yet. I didn't sleep. Every time guilt tried to crawl in, I replayed the video. Her smile, the cheers, the caption. By morning, my phone was lighting up. Missed calls, texts, unknown numbers. She'd realized she couldn't get home. And that's when I knew this wasn't going to end quietly. By Saturday afternoon, my phone felt like a live wire. Hannah, her friends, numbers I didn't recognize. I let it all ring. Every vibration was a reminder that she'd finally hit a wall she couldn't flirt or laugh her way through. The first text came through anyway. Why won't my boarding pass load? I didn't respond. 10 minutes later, did you cancel my flight? This isn't funny. Then the calls started stacking. Voicemails. Short at first, confused, annoyed, then sharp, accusatory. Her friends joined in, calling me insecure, controlling, dramatic. One of them left a message laughing, saying, "It was just a kiss, relax. Just a kiss." Posted publicly. Labeled single. Cheered on like a sport. I spent that day in a fog, moving through the apartment and noticing things I'd never questioned before. Her clothes in the closet, her makeup on the sink, the framed photo of us from a beach trip where she'd sworn she'd never loved anyone like me. It all felt staged now, like props from a play I hadn't realized I was watching. Late that night, the voicemail came. 6 minutes long. Her voice was hoarse, crying. Real crying, not the cute kind she used when she wanted forgiveness. She said she'd messed up, that she was drunk, that it didn't mean anything, that she loved me, that she was stuck and scared and didn't know what to do. She said my name over and over like repetition could undo humiliation. I listened to the entire thing without pausing, then I deleted it. Sunday morning her mother called. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to. She didn't yell. She didn't defend Hannah. She just sighed, deep, tired, and said, "I'm so sorry you had to see that." Then she said the sentence that cracked everything open. This isn't the first time she's done something like this. My stomach dropped. Trips, parties, grey areas. Things brushed off as misunderstandings. Times Hannah had pushed boundaries just far enough to feel desired, then come home and act committed. Her mom said she'd warned her, that the LA trip felt like an escape, not a vacation. Suddenly, the joke Hannah made before leaving made sense. "You're not one of those controlling boyfriends who checks up on me, right?" It wasn't a joke, it was permission. By Monday, mutual friends had picked sides. Some said I was cruel for leaving her stranded. Others said I showed restraint they couldn't imagine. Hannah's friends were loud online, painting me as the villain who abandoned his girlfriend over harmless fun. But the videos didn't lie. When Hannah finally showed up at my workplace days later, red-eyed, exhausted, dragging a carry-on like a symbol of defeat, I felt nothing. Not anger, not love, just clarity. She accused me of abandoning her, of punishing her, of being heartless. I told her she abandoned us first, publicly, proudly. She tried to minimize it, one kiss, one night, no big deal. I reminded her of the caption, the cheering, the choice to broadcast betrayal like entertainment. When she said my reaction was worse than her actions, something in me went silent. I looked at her and realized I wasn't losing my future, I was dodging it, and that's when I told her we were done. She didn't accept it at first. Hannah never did. She cried harder, louder, like volume could bend reality. People stared. Co-workers slowed their steps. She whispered that we could fix this, that everyone makes mistakes, that I was throwing away years over one weekend. "One weekend," I repeated. "You called yourself single." That's when the mask slipped. Her tears dried almost instantly, replaced by anger sharp enough to cut. She told me I was embarrassing her, that cancelling the flight was petty, that I cared more about my pride than her safety. I asked her a simple question. If I had posted myself kissing another woman and called it single for the weekend, would you still be standing here begging? She didn't answer. That night, more messages started coming in, but this time they weren't insults. Someone sent me a video I hadn't seen before. Another angle. Same night. Different bar. Hannah with the same guy, her hands under his shirt, disappearing into the crowd. Then another clip. Hotel hallway. Laughter. Door closing. What she posted wasn't the worst of it. It was the clean version. Strangers. People who didn't know me, didn't owe me anything, had more respect for me than the woman I lived with. I didn't confront her with the videos. I didn't need to. The truth had already done its damage. Instead, I posted a single calm statement online. No insults, no details. Just that the relationship was over, and that loyalty and respect weren't negotiable for me. The reaction was chaos. Support poured in from people I hadn't spoken to in years. Others stayed quiet. Hannah's friends went nuclear, accusing me of controlling the narrative, of humiliating her back. Then something unexpected happened. People started talking. Stories surfaced, DMs, screenshots, moments where Hannah had crossed lines, flirted too hard, blurred boundaries, played innocent afterward. Not all of it was cheating, but all of it followed the same pattern. She begged me to take the post down, said I was destroying her reputation, said employers could see it, family could see it. I told her she destroyed it herself the moment she turned our relationship into content. Even her mother stopped defending her. She admitted Hannah had doubts for months and used the LA trip as an exit, one where she could still feel wanted while painting herself as the victim if things blew up. That was the closure I didn't know I needed. Not rage, not revenge, just the truth, laid bare. By the end of the week, her name was off the lease. Her things were gone. The apartment felt quieter, lighter, like a storm had passed and taken the pressure with it. But the final echo of what she'd done was still coming. The silence after she left was the loudest thing I'd ever heard. No slammed doors, no dramatic last words, just empty space where her presence used to be. For the first time in weeks, I slept through the night. The following days were strange. People expected me to be broken, angry, bitter. Instead, I felt steady, like I'd finally stepped off a moving train. I reconnected with friends Hannah never cared. Started going to the gym again, cleaned the apartment until it felt like mine, not ours. More clips kept surfacing, but I stopped watching. I didn't need proof anymore. Every new video only confirmed what I already knew, that what I loved wasn't real anymore and maybe never was. Hannah started posting again. Quotes about healing, fresh starts, self-love, comments filled with heart emojis from the same friends who cheered her on in that bar. She never tagged me, never mentioned why she was suddenly alone, but the internet remembers, every now and then, Someone would comment asking about LA, about the caption, about the weekend she called herself single. Those comments disappeared fast, but not before being seen. She messaged me one last time, asking if we could at least end things amicably. I told her this was amicable. I didn't lie. I didn't expose everything. I didn't scream or retaliate. I simply refused to protect her from the consequences of her own choices. People kept asking if I regretted cancelling her flight. I don't. When someone publicly humiliates you, they don't get to demand private courtesy afterward. She chose to turn betrayal into entertainment. I just made it official. Now I'm moving forward, dating again, laughing again, remembering what peace feels like when you're not questioning your worth every time your partner opens an app. Hannah wanted to be single for the weekend, so I gave her forever. This is Echoes of Revenge, and this chapter is closed. Looking back now, I don't see that weekend as the moment my relationship ended. I see it as the moment the illusion finally cracked. Betrayal doesn't always come in secret. It sometimes shows up loudly, smiling into a camera, daring you to accept it. I didn't respond with chaos or cruelty. I responded with boundaries, and that choice changed everything. Revenge isn't always about destruction. Sometimes it's about refusal. Refusing to beg, refusing to chase closure from someone who already showed you who they are. Walking away with your dignity intact is the kind of echo that lasts the longest. I didn't lose a future. I reclaimed my peace. And peace, once you've felt it again, is something you'll never trade for comfort or familiarity. If this story hit close to home, I want you to tell me. What would you have done in my place, forgiven her, or walked away the same night you saw that video? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your story might be someone else's wake-up call. This is Echoes of Revenge. Subscribe, like, and stay with us, because some lessons are learned the hard way, and some echoes deserve to be heard.